Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Bastaya Bhutale Shimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Chaline Nivasesha Sunyavadi Pashtitara Sthanane Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Sari Gaura Bhaktivinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. And I have opened up the wrong volume of Brihad Bhagavatamrta.
No.
So let me try again. Okay, let me try this one. Same one. Okay, let me try again. Try this one. No. Okay, let me try something else. 1 second. Just be patient with me. Okay, that's the one. Let me come back to you. Share screen. Hare Krishna. Okay, what do you see now? Do you see Jayati Jayati Krishna Prema Bhakti Yat Amrim?
Yes.
Okay.
Text
So,
8.
yeah, this is volume 1. I fast tracked to volume 2 or 3. So we're on text 9 actually, yeah? Oh, and this is a verse glorifying the holy name, which my Guru Maharaj includes in his book of prayers, which he recites daily. And sometimes I also recite this prayer. So perhaps I think I've managed to identify a meter that works. So I can read this verse, and devotees who are reading, if they like, they can try to follow the same meter, or I suggest you just read the translation. Okay? So text 9. In the meantime, devotees can put their hands up for reading. So Sanatan Goswami is continuing with his mangalcaran. So now he's directly offering prayers to the holy name. He's offered prayers to Govardhan, the Yamuna, Shri Krishna Chaitanya. What else? Who else? Krishna Chaitanya, Radharani, Vrindavan, the Yamuna, Govardhan. And now he's offering his respectful prayers and obeisances to the holy name. Jayati Jayati Namanda Rupam Marari Viramita Nijatama Dhyana Pujati Ratnam Katam Api Shakrit Atam Mukti Tampaninam Yat Paramam Amritamekam Jivanam Bhushanam Me. Kind of works, not spot on, but so here we go. Anyone would like to read the verse and the purple? I haven't gone forward to see how long the purple is.
Okay.
Go ahead, whoever that was.
I wanted to beat Sahachari. That's why we played.
Well,
it's a gameplay.
Well done. So if you like to read, you can put your yellow hand up, or you can, yeah.
We have done.
Your golden hand up.
I did it before Sahachari, and I tell lies as well.
Okay, go ahead. Let's.
Okay. Oh glories to Lord Murari, in the form of his all ecstatic name. If any living beings puts aside.
1 second. Are we on the right verse? Text 9.
Are we not? Am I on the wrong one? Am I on the wrong one? You just did the
That's what I have.
Yes.
Yeah. All glories, all glories.
To the all ecstatic name of Lord Murari.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yes. Carry on. Sorry, my mistake again.
Now you're confusing me.
Yeah.
Okay, let's. All glories to Lord Murari.
To the all ecstatic name of Lord Murari. That's what it says here. Are you reading from?
Well, my book says, all glories to Lord Murari.
Okay.
Form of his all ecstatic name.
Okay.
Well,
any living being puts aside such tasks as meditation, ritual worship, and social duties, and even once takes the Lord's holy name, the name will grant him liberation. That holy name is the greatest source of eternal pleasure and is my very life and ornament. Commentary. Among the various practices of devotional service, the most important is chanting of the holy name of the Lord. Chanting the Lord's name is Ananda Rupam, pure bliss, because it makes ecstasy rise in the heart. Chanting the holy name is also Ananda Rupam, in the sense that it is the essence of ecstasy and it makes everything it touches aesthetic. In this verse, the author again repeats the exclamation Jayati, indicating that Harinam, the name of the Lord, is the greatest manifestation of the Supreme Lord's attractiveness and mercy. One who realizes the value of Harinam will choose to rely on chanting Harinam rather than on other kinds of spiritual efforts. Performing prescribed duties within the Varnashram system is troublesome. Person who have lost interest in the ritual duties of Varnashram cultivates yogic meditation, either for impersonal perfection or as a means of devotional service. But in either case, this too is troublesome because it involves the difficulty of subduing the mind and senses. Worship of the deity of the Lord is troublesome because the worshipper must purify all the items to be offered and his own body and heart as well. And also troublesome are the other devotional practices such as hearing, which can be correctly performed only after one fulfills difficult prerequisites, such as finding a suitable qualified Vaishnava to hear from. Therefore, putting aside concerns about success in these matters, an intelligent devotee will simply focus his attention on Harinam, and thus he will easily achieve the result of all the above methods. Devahuti, the mother of Lord Kapil Dev, confirms this in a prayer to her son. Oh, how glorious are they whose tongues are chanting your holy name. Even if born in the families of dog eaters, such persons are worshipable. Persons who chant the holy name of your Lordship must have executed all kinds of austerities and fire sacrifices and achieved all the good manners of the Aryans. To be chanting the holy name of your Lordship, they must have bathed at holy places of pilgrimage, studied the Vedas, and fulfilled everything required. Bhagavatam 3:33-7. Similarly, in Sri Vishnu Purana, we find the following statement. What was accomplished in Krita Yuga by meditation, in the Treta Yuga by ritual sacrifices, and in the Dwapar age by worship of deity of the Lord is accomplished in this Kali age by loud chanting of the names of Keshava. A doubting person may question that.
Let's just pause there. Oh, sorry, I was on mute then. I was on mute. I was telling to pause, but I was muted.
Oh dear.
Yeah, this is a very interesting correlation, isn't it? That this is Gopi Pranadana, it's purple. He kind of highlights the other devotional angas as being somewhat troublesome compared to the holy name. And he's mentioning deity worship for one, which kind of, I think most of us are familiar with it, familiar with deity worship. And he's speaking of it in a way that it's, derogatory is too strong a term, and it's not what he's saying. But deity worship, for instance, you cannot worship the deities unless you take a bath, you do Achman, and there's Upachar mantras if you're offering items on the altar. There's Bij mantras, there's lots of rules that's given in the Nectar of Devotion. Yeah, there's lots of offenses you can make to deities. And those offenses are listed in the Nectar of Devotion. So I think it's quite nice how he's made that correlation between the holy name, where you don't have to do Achman, you don't have to take a bath, You don't have to, for instance, to worship the deities, at least in temples, you have to be Dvija, Brahmin initiated, you know, and that may take some time for many. But the holy name, you can just anytime, anywhere, any place. There used to be one advert used to advertise a box of chocolates like that. And I've given it as a gift anytime, anywhere, any place. Then a milk tray. Sorry to remind you of the material world. But that's the holy name. And yeah, so if there's, you know, what's the most 5 important angas of devotional practice given in the Nectar of Devotion? See if there's any Bhakti Sastri students out there.
Yeah. Is it the holy name? Nam? Bhagavatam?
Yes.
Mathuravas.
Mathura.
Yes.
Bhagavatam. Deities, deity worship, and devotees.
Yeah.
Sangha.
Yeah, that's the 5. So if we may be in a situation where we may have to give one of those up or some of those up, like we may be in a situation where we can't worship the deities for one reason or another. We may be in hospital, or many things can happen, or there may be something called COVID-19 which might come and mess things up. We can't worship the deities, or sometimes we haven't, I mean, none of us have been to the Holy Dham for 2 years or more. Perhaps some of us, somebody can't visit, we can visit the temple, that's the Holy Dham in one sense, but we can't live in, we haven't been to Vrindavan or Mayapur, you know. Sometimes we may not always be able to get the association of devotees. Yeah, we can't take it for granted we have association of each other, but we might be in a situation at some point in our life where we might not have the association of devotees. We may not be able to hear Bhagavatam class. You know, the one day there might be no internet. And you won't be able to hear classes online anymore. Yeah. But there's one thing we should never give up.
Chanting.
Those 5 angas, there's one thing which we should always have close to our heart. And that's chanting the holy name of the Lord. You know? And that's nice that Sanatan Goswami is glorifying the holy name as his very ornament, his very life, and his very ornament. And Sanatan Goswami had deities as well. What was Sanatan Goswami's deity he would worship? I don't know.
Madan Mohan.
Madan Mohan, yes. So how much affection, love he had for Madan Mohan. But here is glorifying the holy name as being his eternal pleasure and his very life and ornament. Yeah. So any other comments on this so far? The verse and the purport by Gopi Puranadana? If not, we can read on. This is, Prabhupada would often quote this verse. I'm highlighting this verse here. He would often quote this verse. This is on the 3rd canto as it's described here. So how glorious are those whose tongues the holy name is being vibrated. Yeah. So they've considered to be, have done all necessary purificatory activities. Yeah. All right. So let's read on. So let's just go over the page, isn't it? We've done that. And anyone else like to read? He brings up a doubt now. Gopi Pranadana has bringing up a doubt based on the just recited.
Shall I?
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
Yes. What was accomplished in the Krita age by meditation, in the Treta age by ritual sacrifices, and in the Dwapara age by worship of the deity of the Lord, is accomplished in the Kali age
Hare
by
Krishna.
chanting of the names of Keshav.
Something's unless I've made another mistake, but I've got here a doubting person may question.
Yes, Prabhu, you're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, next
Okay,
page. Yes.
sorry,
That's the next paragraph.
Yeah,
paragraph. Okay, sorry about that. A doubting person may question the ease of success by Harinam. One might earn religious credit, economic success, and material enjoyment by Harinam. He might say, but liberation is something else. Liberation can be gained only by those who are spiritually fit. A best devotee who chant Harinam with perfect faith and devotion may achieve liberation through long practice. Srila Sanatana Goswami refutes this doubt, declaring here that if any living being even once chants Lord Hari's name, even unintentionally or in ridicule, jest, or material distress, the holy name will surely grace the person with liberation. This chanting may be performed without true realization. It may be a mere reflection or shadow, namabhas, but still it will result in liberation. Srimad Bhagavatam confirms this again and again. Etavatalam agani nirharanaya pumsam sankirtanam bhagavato gunakarmanam vikrusya putram agavan yat ajamilopi narayaneti brinayamana tyaya muktim. One is easily relieved from all sinful reactions by chanting the holy name of the Lord and chanting of his qualities and activities. This is the only process recommended for relief from sinful reactions. Even if one chants the holy name of the Lord with improper pronunciation, one will achieve relief from material bondage. If one chants without offenses. Ajamila, for example, was extremely sinful, but while dying, he merely chanted the holy name, and although calling his son, he achieved complete liberation because he remembered the name of Narayan. Bhagavatam 6.3.24. Chitram vidura vigata sakra adadita ennamatyayam ahunasa jahati bandham. It is amazing that even a person beyond the jurisdiction of four castes, in other words, an untouchable, is immediately relieved of bondage to material existence if he utters the holy name of the Lord even once. Bhagavatam 5.135. Ennamasakra charavanat pukasopi vimuchyate samsarat. Merely by hearing the holy name of your Lordship only once, even Chandalas, men of the lowest class, are freed from all material contamination. Bhagavatam 6.16.44. The Prabhasa Khanda of the Skanda Purana also state, Madhura Madhuram Etan Mangalam Mangalanam Sakala Nigama Vallisat Phalam Chit Sarupam Sakradapi Parigitam Sraddhaya Belaya Va Bhurguvara Nara Mantram Tarayet Krishna Nama. O best of the Bhrigu dynasty, the holy name of Krishna is the sweetest of the sweet and the most auspicious of the auspicious. It is the transcendental fruit of all the Vedas and is purely spiritual. Whoever chants it but once, whether with faith or with contempt, is liberated. Although we normally think of chanting as being the business of the tongue, all of one's conscious faculties can be engaged with Harinam. The mind can contemplate the syllables of Lord's names and their meanings, and the external senses can interact with the Harinam, each in their own way. Speech and hearing are obviously involved in the Harinam, but the sense of touch can feel the name written in sacred clay on one's body. The eyes can see the name written in various places. The hands and legs can work to carry a banner inscribed with the name, and so on. At the end of this verse, Srila Sanatana describes his own relationship with Harinam. It is everything to him. Nothing else is important. For him, Harinam is the nectar of immortality, the happiness of true liberation. Countless times greater than the satisfaction of impersonal mukti, Harinam is also greater than the bliss of Vaikuntha. It is sweeter than all the other attractive things. It is Sanatana Goswami's very life and only ornament, a limitless reservoir of auspiciousness, the entire focus of his attention.
Okay. So let's just pause there before going to text 10. Any reflections on what we just heard there? I'm just going to scroll back one page. I'll come back when
I
it's
was just
again.
thinking.
Yeah.
I was just chanting today, and I was thinking, look at this mantra. That's just this mantra. It like purifies you. It controls in a way your senses eventually. It's like just amazing. The mantra is so powerful.
Yeah, and that's what Sanatan Goswami is saying. It's
Yeah,
actually his
so
savior. So probably we probably underestimate its effect on our life, perhaps. But
definitely.
you could say that's the fuel that is assisting us in our spiritual life, is the holy name. And actually it's Krishna, but it's Krishna in a very, very merciful form that you can take even in the bathroom, so to speak. You can take anywhere. But yeah, so very yeah, just some came to mind. I just forgot what I was going to say. But,
like I was just thinking about your eating, your watching programs or going out, everything is just that holy name, that mantra is controlling so much,
yeah,
in life.
yeah, and even Gopi Pranadana brings up about different stages of chanting. I think you're familiar with them. There's offensive, nam aparat. Then there's the next, and the highest is Sudanam, then Namabas. So the example is given of Ajamil, and we all know the story of Ajamil. But he didn't achieve liberation straight away. In one sense, his darshan of the Vaikunthas was definitely a stage of liberation. But he didn't go back to Godhead immediately after that near-death experience. It goes on to describe that he went to join the temple. He really practiced very seriously, because you can imagine he had quite a revelation. So he became very serious, and he attained liberation in that one life, and that was all by chanting the holy name. So it says Namabas. So yeah, and in this section here, I'm just going to highlight this. Gopi Pranadana is referring to the 6th canto, which is the Ajamil Kanda, which describes about Namabas. And it describes that even if one chants in jest, like Hari, 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 mimicking the devotees, or just for some musical entertainment, it may not be devotionally inspired, the chanting, but just because you're associating with the sound, then you get tremendous benefit. Of course, to come to pure Nam, then one would have to become a sadhaka, and receive the name through parampara, etc. But still, one's path of liberation is opened at that point, if they wish to take advantage of it. That's called namabas. There's an example given that there's a Muslim word for shock and horror. An example is given, like one Muslim was being bored by a boar, was being attacked by a boar. And so he said, haram, haram, which means this is really bad, because hari, haram. Then apparently he achieved liberation. What type of liberation, I don't know. It got great benefit. Yeah. So we're all chanting the holy name on a regular basis every day. Some of you are chanting 32 rounds, some 16 rounds, perhaps some might be chanting less. Most of you, I think, are chanting at least 16 rounds. And that's like, as we will go on in this Brihad Bhagavatamrta, especially when we come to the part of Gopal Kumar, it's his chanting of the Gopal mantra, which is the names of Krishna, like the Maha Mantra. And the whole focus is the effect that that mantra has on him and where it takes him. Yeah, I'm just seeing here as well. We can also, you can also worship the holy name. You can have some temples. I know in New Rajdam they have a picture of the Maha Mantra on the altar, and you can worship it with incense like that, incense lamp, and worship the holy name. But just pointing out this part here, where Gopi Pranada points out how we can engage all of our senses in service to the holy name. Yeah, can write it on our body, carry a banner. Yeah, we can interact with the holy name in many ways. All right. Shall we read text 10? It's a short purport. These purports coming up are relatively short, actually, so we'll be going through a few verses, which is always good. Give us an idea of the storyline or the flow. Yes, go ahead.
Read, Prabhu. Thank you. Namah Sri Krishna Chandraya Nirupadi Kripa Kirte Ya Sri Chaitanya Rupopa Tanvan Prema Rasam Kalu. The taste of pure love. Kalu. Oh, no, sorry. I bow down to Sri Krishna Chandra, the bestower of unconditional mercy. In the modern age, he has appeared as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to distribute the taste of pure love. To conclude his mangalcaran invocation, Srila Sanatan Goswami offers respects to his worshipable deity, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the first spiritual master of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. Lord Chaitanya dispenses his causeless mercy to all living entities, whether they deserve it or not. He distributes the taste of rasa, intimate emotional exchanges between God and his devotees, the rarest commodity of the spiritual world. Very few persons in the material realm know what rasa is. Among the varieties of rasa in the spiritual world, the rasa found at the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is most precious and exquisite. It should therefore be extremely difficult for anyone in the modern world to obtain. But Lord Chaitanya, being supremely compassionate, gives away this rasa to unappreciative, reluctant, conditioned souls. Intelligent and fortunate persons will accept his mercy, voluntarily serving his Sankirtana mission.
Hare
Jai.
Krishna. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki jai.
Jai.
So now the mangalcharan's finished now, as it says here. Now next will be verses describing a little bit about the history of this Brihad Bhagavatamrta. But we all know about rasa, isn't it now? After our Nectar of Devotion classes. It's very, very special. It's the moods and the emotions of the spiritual world. And Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has opened that door and he's made it available. And he's actually chasing, the Sanatan movement is chasing people. And that's Lord Chaitanya. He's chasing the conditioned souls. So the Sanatan movement is his instrument of going out and chasing the conditioned souls down. Yeah, so that's Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Any reflections on this? How Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu easily giving away this rasa? Questions? One question comes up, well, he's not giving it to me. That's a common when you read this type of thing. What about me? I've been forgotten. No, it's there. We have to be a little bit patient. It's just coming. It's on its way. Just like Gurumaj gives the example of the Christmas stocking. The Christmas stocking there, you can't touch it till December 25th. You can't open your presents. So it's there. And if we follow the process, then gradually we're opening up this great ocean of the mood of Vrindavan. So Lord Chaitanya is giving away this to the unappreciated, reluctant, conditioned souls. So those are Sumedasa, those who are intelligent. Is that verse, isn't it? Sumedasa. So real intelligence means they recognize this. Yes, I think, Nimai Mata, you had a question there?
I don't know, this thought came to me. When we were children, we picked mangoes and put to ripe. So every time we go and check this, oh, is it ripening? No, no, still more time. So I really felt this is when you said it's coming, the mercy is coming, you said. So it's like
Yeah.
mango is getting ripe. There is some more time. Then we put some straw and ripe the mangoes. Oh, no, no, tomorrow it will be ripe. We used to talk like that.
Okay.
So I remembered that example when you said that.
Yeah, interesting. So straw helps to ripen mangoes.
Yeah, because I think it gives warmth.
Okay. Oh no, I never knew that. Okay. So as sadhana bhakti is like the straw, waiting for it to mature. All right. So any other comments or questions? Otherwise, we can see what's coming next after the Mangala Charan. But very wonderful Mangala Charan, isn't it? Very rasic. Sanatan Goswami is offering prayers to Vrindavan, to the Yamuna, to the Gopis, to Radharani, of course, to Lord Chaitanya, Govardhan Hill.
And it's very simple, very simply explained. Anybody could understand very beautifully.
Simple, pure-hearted appreciation.
Yes.
He's playing obeisances.
To Gopi Purandara, oh my God.
So let's see where he's going to take us now once he's recited his Mangala Charan. So text 11, do you have any readers you'd like to read?
Could I read also, Murli Prabhu, please?
Yes, you can.
Bhagavad Bhakti Shastranam Ayam Saraya Tarashya Sangraham. I don't think it's correct, but Sangraha Anubhutasya Chaitanya. And Deve Tat Priya Rupata. This book collects the essence of the scripture's teachings, devotional service rendered to the Supreme Lord. This essential teaching I have personally realized under the shelter of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I have received them from his dear devotee Sri Rupa. Commentary. Having prized Lord Shri Krishna, his best devotee, his personal abode, and his devotional service, Srila Sanatana Goswami now introduces the theme of his book, Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrta. It is not speculative fiction or fantasy. It is authoritative because it distills from the Vedic literature the essential teaching that describe the pure science of rendering loving service to the Supreme Person. Sri Bhagavatamrta sometimes quotes scriptural text directly, sometimes interweaves selected phrases and words, and sometimes paraphrase the express scriptural ideas. The author Srila Sanatana Goswami, an unalloyed devotee with no material motives, has fully realized the science of Prema Bhakti. He has expertly molded the presentation in elegant poetry, transparently without superfluous imposition of his own. In trying to translate and explain this great work in English, and in trying to understand it properly, we can only pray to Srila Sanatana Goswami for the spiritual strength to carry out in good faith our respective responsibilities as translator and as readers. How been able to read devotional scriptures under one title? For years he delightfully engaged his mind in studying many scriptures and engaged his heart in devotional meditation. He conducted this outward and inward research under the compassionate guidance and protection of the Lord of Consciousness, Chaitanya Deva, Krishna's expansion of the Super Soul, Sri Vasudeva, Srila Sanatana Goswami, imbibed the full mercy of Lord Vasudeva by meditating upon him and actively serving him in his transcendental activities as the Supreme Person. Shri Krishna, Nanda Nandana, who enjoyed playing his flute and whose charming body bends in 3 places. By the causeless mercy of Shri Krishna, one can successfully fix one's attention on him and with higher vision see for oneself the purport of all revealed knowledge. Potential understanding of Chaitanya Deva and Tat Priya Rupata is that Lord Krishna is now conducting his Sankirtana mission as the son of Sachi Devi. One obtains his complete mercy by meditating intensively on his all-attractive golden form, Priya Rupa, which is dressed in the saffron of the sannyas, or Tat Priya Rupata may refer to Sri Rupa Goswami, the very dear servant of Lord Chaitanya and devotional co-worker of Sri Sanatana. Although Sri Rupa considered his elder brother Sanatana his spiritual master, here Srila Sanatana credits Rupa. Rupa. 1 second.
Okay, let's see.
Credits Rupa. No, it's gone.
It's there. I've moved it.
It's text 12.
Yeah, at the top of the page.
Oh.
We have to read this.
Find his way on the path of Prema Bhakti. One can ascertain the essence of spiritual truth only by the kind mercy of the Supreme Lord and his pure devotees.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, your internet's coming and going a bit. We had that yesterday, I think, where you're speaking slowly, then and you speak fast. But anyway, we was reading as well, so we could hear it. Let me just go scroll back. So he was giving a little bit about, again, as I said, he's introducing the actual subject of the book. And it's quite interesting because we understand that the Srimad Bhagavatam is the essence of or the cream of all the Vedic scriptures. But this Brihad Bhagavatamrta is considered to be, amazingly, the essence of Srimad Bhagavatam. And it is based on Bhagavatam, but I don't know whether to give the story away. Perhaps some of you might know already, but I can't help resist. But it's actually a conversation that was spoken. Maharaj Parikshit's mother, Uttara, is that her name? Did I get that right?
Yes.
Yeah. She, after Sukadeva Goswami had finished speaking and left, as amazingly as he appeared on the scene, when he's finished Bhagavatam, he just disappeared, mystically went. And before Taksha, the snake bird that was destined to bite Maharaj Parikshit, came, then Uttara was very keen to hear, in essence, what Sukadeva Goswami had said. So in that space of time, before the snake came, he spoke, but he gave her the creme of the creme of the creme, which is this Brihad Bhagavatamrta. And you see, he went into how he obtained this and the empowerment he got, as Gopi Pranadhan is explaining in the purport. This was through deep meditation, deep bhajan, through like chanting the holy name, and revelation from the Lord, from Super Souls mentioned. So actually, Brihad Bhagavatamrita is not something which it's a scripture which was shown to him and revealed to him. It wasn't like he was writing a book and it was something that was given to him. and he put it in his own poetic way. And that's what we have. That's why it's so special. Yeah, you can't get, if you go to a bookshop and you ask for, I want a book that is revealed, that is millions of years old, and it's revealed within the heart only. I want a special book like that. I want a book that's written by someone who has no defects of a human being. I want a book of someone who is untouched by the influence of this material world. They probably look at you a bit strange. But this is such a book. Brihad Bhagavatamrta. Yeah. Any other reflections on this? Again, he's mentioning the Sanatan movement. Lord Chaitanya. Right, let's, I scroll back a bit now, so now let's scroll forward. Let me just have a quick look at the size of this purple. Yeah, so perhaps one person perhaps could read this purple, and we're making good ground.
Shall I read?
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
Srumatanu Vaishnava Shastram Idam Bhagavatamrtam Sugopayam Prabhayat Premna Janmenair Janmejayam. May the Vaishnavas kindly hear this confidential scripture, Sri Bhagavatamrta. Jaimini Rishi spoke it to King Janmejay in the enthusiasm of a pure love. Commentary. Unlike books of fiction, this book carries the authority of revealed scripture. Its purpose is not to entertain the readers or edify them with some pious ethical message, but to teach the highest principles of spiritual life and to help those who faithfully read it enter the path of absolute perfection. The name Bhagavatamrta is appropriate because this book consists of the most relishable essence, Amrut, of the revealed text concerning devotion to the Supreme Lord, Bhagavan. Gradually, we shall see more clearly how appropriate this name is. Sri Sanatan Goswami says that only the Vaishnavas, devotees of God, should read this book because others will misunderstand it. He says this out of the compassion for the non-devotees, because persons who have no taste for the personal service of Lord Vishnu have impure hearts. Most likely they will disbelieve what is spoken here and react offensively. Furthermore, although the term Vaishnav technically refers to anyone initiated into the worship of the Supreme Lord, in its present context, the word Vaishnav refers to a more stricted group, the devotees who know the taste of devotional reciprocations and are eager to enjoy the nectar found at the lotus feet of Sri Krishna, the darling son of Nand Maharaj. Standard definition of Vaishnava is given in the Padma Purana. Swarga Khand 31:112 to 113. Sangam Samudram Sa Nyasam Sa Sri Chandala Daivatam Sadiksha Vidhi Sa Dabhyanam Sa Yantram Dvadasakkaram Asakta Karanam Athyayam Va Ye Mantranam Mantram Samupasyate Gnayaste Vaishnava Loka Vishnu Archanrata Sada. Vaishnavas should be understood to be those who regularly worship Lord Vishnu and chant either the 12-syllable Vishnu mantra, the 8-syllable mantra, or some other mantra of his. They should have properly received the mantra through initiation and along with mantra should have been instructed in the secondary rituals and the hand gestures and bodily markings pertaining to the mantra. Such Vaishnavas should know about the meter in which the mantra is recited. A sage who transmitted the mantra, the deity, the mantra worships the method of preliminary meditation on the mantra, and the symbol by which the mantra is visually represented. In general, we may accept any initiated worshipper of Vishnu as a Vaishnava, or even more liberally, any monotheist. But we can expect only the pure devotees of Sri Nandakishore to relish much pleasure in reading Brihad Bhagavatamrta. May the Vaishnavas kindly hear. Although Sri Sanatan is close to the Vaishnavas, always engaged in their intimate service, he addresses them in this formal, somewhat distinct language because he has great respect for the Lord's servants and considers himself unworthy to approach them. The confidential message of the first part of this book will be conveyed through an ancient conversation between two exalted Vaishnavas, Jaimini Rishi and King Janmejai. In Bhagavad Gita 10:22, Lord Krishna affirms the sage Jaimini's reputation as a great devotee. Vedanam samavedosmi. Among the Vedas, I am the Samaved. Jaimini became the first teacher of this best of the four Vedas under the authority of Sri Vedvyas. This means that Vedvyas recognized him as an expert knower of the purport of the Samaved, which centers on the devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Jaimini's teaching strongly emphasize the execution of sacrificial duties, but they do so to help materialistic Brahmanas gradually prepare themselves for the higher devotional understanding of the Vedas revealed in the Upanishads and the Vedanta Sutra. Jaimini is known too for his description of the glories of Lord Jagannath, the celebrated deity form of Krishna worshipped in Puri in Orissa. Sri Janmejai, the worthy son of King Parikshit, was also a pure devotee of Krishna. He had an ardent affinity for hearing about Lord Vishnu and the Vaishnavas. Out of eager love for the personality of Godhead and his devotees, Jaimini spoke the confidential topics of the Bhagavatamrta to Janmejai. No material motive would have justified discussing such secret matters publicly. Thank you.
Thank you, Mother. Thank you. So just I think just a little just to highlight that what's apparent here is that the first part is not the part, it's the second part, as I was mentioning before, that is the conversation between Parikshit and his mother, Uttara. That was apparent from reading this. The first part is actually, it's coming from Jaimini. Yeah, so there's two parts. Yeah. Yeah, I'm kind of pleasantly surprised and to see this glorification of Jaimini as being described as a devotee, which he is, but Jaimini's otherwise scriptural works, as it's said, is really meant for materialistic persons. It's definitely not directly about pure devotional service. You know? If you read, yeah, because he took parts of the Vedas, and Jaimini, he didn't spotlessly glorify Krishna, but here he's being glorified, and here he is. So, yeah, I was interested to hear that. Any other observations or reflections on this? Lots about the mantra here.
Is Jaimini also an astrologer? Is that the same Jaimini?
Yes, I think he is. Yeah, Jaimini. What's the that scripture which that's astrological treatise that he wrote? Do you know the name of that? It's,
I can't remember, but I didn't know.
Jyoti, no?
Jyoti, no, that's the general description of the word. Yeah. Anyway, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Jaimini. That would be one of his expertise. I think was in astrological calculation. And astrological calculation was it was primarily used to identify the right time to do sacrifices. Yeah. Now it's primarily used for marriage or things like that. But before it was used and to be able to identify the appearance days of the Lord and to conduct great sacrifices. So that's Jaimini. Anything else from here we can bring out? We've got 5 minutes left. A few details perhaps we're not so familiar with about mantra. Here I'm just highlighting this. In Vedic times, there was a whole ritual or science for receiving a mantra. Yeah. You would get a mantra to chant, and that mantra had a devata. And you had to chant prayers before you chanted the actual mantra. And the prayer would give the devata of the mantra, it would give the meter of the mantra, and something else, yeah, give the meter and the devata of the mantra, and also the mantra would have a symbol. That's a yantra. You heard of yantra? Yantra, yeah. Yantras, they made to personify in form, in yantra, in a yantra form. So you can worship the mantra by worshiping.
We use a yantra. We use a yantra when we bathe the Lord in the morning.
Yeah, we do. We use the Goloka yantra, the 8-petaled lotus. Yeah, you see me when we do Abhishek, I do this, so that's called a yantra. So mantras in ancient times were the very precise sound vibrations, that the potency of these mantras could only be gotten by following all the etiquettes and all the rules and regulations for actually receiving the mantra. So the Maha Mantra, there's no hard and fast rules. You don't have to do any of these rituals. So he mentions that bit of technical details there. But anything else from here? Interesting. Also, Jaimini is written about Jagannath. I've never seen that scripture. I haven't heard of it, but it's probably there somewhere. His description of the glories of Jagannath. So, all right. Okay. Let's just perhaps, we've got a couple of minutes. We've got 3 minutes left. Perhaps let's have a look.
But he is the worthy son of Maharaj Parikshit.
Jaimini.
It says he's the worthy.
No, that's Janmijai. There's Janmijai, he's the son of Maharaj Parikshit, and Jaimini is another personality.
Yeah. Sorry, I was going to say.
Yeah. Janmijai is the one who, when his father was killed by Taksha, the snake, then he chanted a mantra, and all the snakes of all the universe were coming into a fiery pit to be consumed.
Yeah.
In his anger.
Yeah.
Very, very powerful. Then he was stopped doing that eventually. He was told to chill out a bit. Told to calm down a bit. So that's Janmijai. He's the one who took up rulership after Maharaj Parikshit, going back to Godhead. Yeah. But anyway, perhaps we'll stop here. I'm just going to scroll here. Right,
I've got a question.
Yes.
When Parikshit Maharaj and Sukha Goswami were doing the Bhagavatam, this was not spoken, was it? Because Uttara comes, Mother Uttara comes to Parikshit before he was going to leave. So I was just wondering, when did he hear about Brihad Bhagavatam?
Yeah, so you're asking during when Sukadeva Goswami was preaching, was speaking Bhagavatam. Yeah, as I said, perhaps you might have said it came just after Sukadeva Goswami had finished, and before, I think perhaps you joined us a bit late, But before
Oh, I did. Sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. Don't worry. I'll listen to your class. Don't worry.
I can tell you now, it's okay. But just before Taksha came to bite Mars Parikshit, there was a space of time. And Uttara, she came. And interesting, yeah, it just reminded me because she's glorified, because she comes and her son's about to die, her son's about to be killed. And she's not kind of, you know, crying in a materialistic way. She wants to hear the Bhagavatam. She wants to hear what Sukadev Goswami has just said to her son. That is her motivation for coming to her son at that point. And of course, time's running out. 7 days have gone, and Taksha's on his way. So Mars Parikshit then speaks Brihad Bhagavatamrta. It was interesting because it's not a small book, so it's still enough of time to speak it. All right?
Yes, thank you very much.
And we will hear about that more. I'm just scrolling forward a bit. So, yeah, Mahabharat's mentioned. All right, we'll stop there then on text 13. So it's very nice. We're getting good. We've got a nice flow of reading. We're getting through quite a few purports. As we go on, you'll find it opens up to quite a bit of detailed philosophy. So it might take us a bit longer to understand what's being said. You know, that's coming. But anyway, we did well. Text 8 to 13 today, and we'll continue with text 13 next week. Okay. So thank you everybody for joining us for this reading of Brihad Bhagavatamrta. And I look forward to next week. And
Thank you.